Boom! We got it all back. He doesn't have it. $101,000, dude. Let me make sure my math is right. You just witnessed freaking greatness, dude. You witnessed greatness, dude.
All right, folks. So we're back in the court of King John Cerasani, the greatest of all time. I really don't know quite how to respond to that. I tackle it from time to time, but I have to say that enormous self-confidence certainly isn't a crime. And if he can persuade enough people to believe in his self-assessment, his self-coronation, then good luck to him. I've started in this particular spot rather than with the latest upload of outcomes, because it just kind of reinforces what I've been saying throughout this this particular analysis of Cerasani's play, and that is, you look at this down here, which is the actual value, the flat outcome. If you were betting the same amount every time, that just 1 unit or whatever, this is how your progress would look. And if you look at King John's performance a lot across the same period of time, you can hardly deny that it's directly related to the ups and downs of the AV, whereas pattern betting's algorithm comes up against it once or twice pretty badly, really badly right here, but just little blips along the way, and is very clearly not faithfully tracking the AV. So that's the point that I wanted to make there. The other thing is that the pattern betting algorithm, betting against exactly the same bets as John, but obviously not betting the same amount as him. And I don't mess with the algorithm. There may be some flaws in there. I haven't found any. But the main thing is I don't mess with it. I add the new data when it comes in, and I let it do its thing. And it's not rocket science. It's not anything fancy. It's just straightforward, common sense, consistency, logic, and basically arithmetic, So overall, the house advantage for this sample, which has now hit, it's coming up on 2,000 bets now, minus 4.2%. That's the gross AV. The net tells a different story. It's green instead of red, plus 3.3% player edge, simply because of factors like the naturals paying 3-2, double downs being +2, and failed double downs being -2. Sorry, I seem to be struggling all of a sudden to spit words out. I suppose it's because I'm in awe, having just watched Cerasani telling us all that you you have witnessed greatness. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Delusion is a wonderful thing. As long as you can get people to go along with it, it's not so great if somebody queries it. But anyway, what I was trying to say was, yes, the net is the net AV is an advantage to the player, to John, to me as well, obviously, or to Algie, plus 3.3%. So the expected outcome, which is taking the total action for Algie, which is here, and multiplying it by that 3.3%. The expected win would be 55,442. We actually got over 3 times that, and we achieved a win percentage of 9.6%. Going down to the Cerasani numbers, not quite the same. He's still ahead, that's the most important thing. But his win percentage is 2.4%, which falls short of if he'd been betting flat all the way, he'd have made 3.3%. So you can see what I'm trying to get at here. This guy is completely at the mercy of the AV, the actual value, the run of the cards, if you like. Whereas pattern betting and the algorithm that recreates or tracks pattern betting in this worksheet is not dependent on the ebb and the flow. Well, it is to an extent, obviously, because if it doesn't win, if there were no wins, then there'd be no profit. But what I'm saying is it's not a question of being a slave to the AV. So Algae has managed 9.6%. Algae's action is less than half of the greatest of all time, King John. He's at 3.8 million and I'm at 1.7 million, so big difference there. His exposure 75,700. Algae's was 33,000. The big difference, of course, is in the spread. He spread from 200 to 10,000, which is 50 to 1. Algae spread from 25 to 100,000. Now, I completely understand that nobody watching this is likely to be able to afford bets of 100,000. But the message that I try to get across in all of these demos, in every one of these videos, is that these games cannot be beaten in the long run unless you have A, a honking great bankroll, and B, a really terrific money management plan, a strategy, a methodology, whatever you want to call it, a system, but you've got to have something. If you have just one of those two things, then you're in trouble. Just a great strategy and not enough money, you're screwed. Tons of money and no strategy, you're screwed. That's the up and down of it. That's all I'm trying to say. So anyway, let's look at the latest session. John made 32,250 against a player edge of 11.2%. So if he'd been flat betting in this one, he would have made more money. He came out at 10%, and the actual AV is 11.2%. So basically, not a whole point. Alexa, stop. Sorry, folks, I keep meaning to turn it off and I never remember. Middle age is a terrible thing. His extra bets, his multi-bets this time actually made him $5,000, damn near. He lost 2 more than he won, but the way that the monkey jumped, the cookie crumbled, whatever, he hit it right. He got even though he had fewer wins, they added up to more money, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, what else do we have? We have his average winning bet was 2,185. God, these letters all seem, these numbers seem to get smaller every time I look at them. Plus 2,185 minus 1,974. Average win value over average loss value is 111%. Not good enough, I'm afraid. But if you have enough more wins than losses, then it doesn't matter very much. That's the truth. Going up to Algae. Algae turned his edge, and remember, because he didn't have any action over here in the sort of the extra bets, because I just don't do that. I think it's crazy to just throw out more money in the hope. I mean, every time the dealer gets a natural, for Christ's sake, you can have 2 20s, you can have whatever, you're wiped out. It just doesn't make sense. But that's up to individual players. All I'm trying to do here is to say, look, there's a way to beat these games, baccarat and blackjack, but you can't just do it bloody random betting, just flying by the seat of your pants. It just isn't going to happen. Doesn't mean to say you're not going to win from time to time, but you're going to be like Cerasani. You're going to have to be dependent, completely dependent on an actual value, on a wins to loss ratio that that propels you, that makes you profitable, and that just is not possible in the long term. I'm sorry, it just isn't possible. So. Algae made 10,400 on action of 67,525, which is 17.7%. King John had action of 5 times as much, and made whatever. He made 3 times as much. So he made 3 times as much, betting 5 times as much money, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I'm sure that because he has his court of admirers and believers, and because he believes in himself, I don't think that's going to bother him in the slightest. But there you have it. I mean, that really is the whole story. I mean, let's cycle up through this particular session, part 2 at the Palazzo at the Venetian. Just a mess, really. But he finally managed to turn around. He got into profit way down here, 500 ahead, and then he started to slip again. And then he came out 500 ahead there. And then he was on the slide, and then he came out again, and he did okay. He had some turnarounds. That's the most important thing. Not very many, but he had a few. Those are the green bars, of course. The green horizontal bars say, okay, that's where he's got ahead. If you go up to dear old algae, you see a whole lot more of those horizontal bars. I think you can see that. I mean, it's just a whole different approach, you know. And that doesn't mean to say there aren't some huge bets. But the point about the spread, you know, from 25 to 100,000 is, I have never said and will never say that you can stay in the same place, the same table, in the same casino, and bet that kind of spread. Of course you can't. But the way that you run this thing, and it's a business, it's not a fun and games thing, but the way you run it is quite simply, you say, okay, as soon as I hit the table limit, if the next bet that I'm supposed to make, according to the strategy, a strategy that I believe in, that I have confidence in, that I trust, if it says I've got to bet 2,000 and the table max is 1,500 or whatever, then I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's what you do. You just pick up your chips and off you go. Spend a bit of shoe leather, spend a bit of time, go and find a table or a casino or whatever, you know, jumping from low rent to high rent and back to low rent and all the rest of it. And every time you turn around, as in these green horizontals here, you know, like we turned around there, and because we had a huge bet and we grabbed a natural right there, we made 4,475 and said, okay. So then the algorithm just says, thank you very much. I'll fall back to a minimum bet. And that's what you do. Every time you hit your target, you go back to a minimum bet. That means you're going to be on the move a lot more than the likes of King John. You know, I mean, he sits at the same table. He gets his ass kicked all over the place, and he just stays there and he keeps on trying and digging and digging. And, you know, once in a while he'll see things turn around the way they did this time. But most of the time it's just awful. Something that helps to illustrate what I was saying about Mr. Cerasani is that he hasn't ever, well, he has maybe once in his career made money when he's been up against a serious house edge. So it didn't happen there. He made money there, but it was a player edge. Made money there, player edge. Ditto. 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 Getting boring, right? He made a bunch of money there, but it was only a 0.4% house edge there. So, you know, that's not exactly terrifying, is it? So he made money that time. So all credit to him. It was even Stevens basically, and he made 12 grand. The blind squirrel phenomenon, that is, you know. Again, you know, he only does it when it's going his way. Every time it's a really serious player edge, house edge, he's done for. You know, I mean, we can go on doing this forever. In fact, I will go all the way to the top. You know, and here he managed it again, but it was only it was just a -1, 2.2% house edge. So, you know, when it's pretty much even, then he can win sometimes, because that's called blind luck. But when it's seriously against him, he can't do a damn thing. And what happened here? Oh yeah, he won 4,000 on the. Because what I do is I will not have any truck with these extras over here. I just think it's stupid. I've said that so many times, and I've repeated myself even in this demo. You know, he lost 4,000 over here, and he won 4,000 on his extras, so he got away with it that time. But you know, he can't make any money unless the cards fall his way. And a strategy that works like that isn't a strategy at all. It's bloody madness. It ain't greatness for sure. You know, it's just dumb. And here, you know, there was hardly any. It was almost an even Stevens here, and he still managed to lose 18,250. Basically, he's a random better. You know, that's how it is with John. So, you know. Anyway, his money, his choice. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I've got no problem with that. How could I? But I'm using his data because it's verifiable. I'm not creating it. I'm not cheating. I'm not rigging the game against him. I'm just playing this absolutely straight. I'm also not saying that I'm the king, because I'm not. I don't. That's just ridiculous. Why would anybody behave like that? It just it's just a mystery to me. But anyway, as I said to him in a comment, you know, it's your kingdom, and you know, you can play by your rules and believe whatever you want. If you can pull some people along with you to believe the same nonsense, then good luck. I mean, that's the American way, isn't it? But anyway, end of story. I am going to throw in at the end of this little sort of thing where he goes, "You have witnessed greatness." I mean, honestly, unbelievable. But you know, you got to believe in yourself, haven't you? That's what they say. So, Mr. Cerasani, King Cerasani, greatest of all time, the best that ever played. I'm sorry. I'm not convinced.
Boom! We got it all back! He doesn't have it. $101,000, dude. Let me make sure my math is right. You just witnessed freaking greatness, dude. You witnessed greatness, dude.